Not yet. 5:10. I'm holding my streak of coming in here early. Sorry, I'm deleting a few emails. There we go. So, I'm probably going to start in on my blog reading fairly quickly. The last two times, I was well into a conversation before I got around to it. Um, I figure if I start with it relatively soon, I like waiting a bit um, just to see if anyone pops in. Um, Always appreciate when they do. It's not necessary. I hope no one feels um, like it's needed 100% or obligated in any way, as it certainly isn't. But it is appreciated very much. I see that some of my friends are actually already live, and I'm always hesitant to. Sorry, fixing something, and I'm petting my cat at the same time. Um, I'm always hesitant to go live when I see some friends on, um, as I don't want to pull anything away from them. But I do have them up and running, and I check in through the evening before I go to bed. Just a little way of giving back. Sorry, gotta pay attention to the cat. Or I get a mean look. I think I've told the story. I have two black cats who are sisters. I think they're about 12 years old now. We got them when they were 10 from a shelter. The person at the shelter was telling Mocha she was worried. For one, people have a tendency not to get black cats when they're adopted. They don't want older cats. And two black cats, you know, who's going to want two black cats together? And as they were sisters and they were bonded, the lady was really afraid that no one was going to take him. And Mocha told me that, and I was like, well, means you got to get him. Means I have to get him. So we brought him home. And they've been a great addition, if not somewhat of a pest, but a great addition to the family. The one thing I miss is constantly having a dog. I have a dog, proxy dog, visiting dog, a step dog, Mocha's dog, who was over here every day. But no longer. Mocha's in class, so Misty, the Pomsky, doesn't get the opportunity to come here for her walks every day like she's used to. But class will be over, I think, in another month and a half or so, and we should get back to a regular routine. So, let me get my blog up. I've also mentioned several times the blog this is a blog that I've had for about 25 years, that I write in every day. I had another blog, it was WordPress, that was supposed to be easier, safer, and more likely to get approved for Google AdSense, which it did, but it's not easier and it's not safer, and it's been down for a week or so. All kinds of trouble. Fortunately, I have my trusty original blog. It's the one that I write in every day because I just like the way it's set up. So I have that up. And what I have, yesterday I did the unprecedented double blog post reading in a single live session. So maybe we'll do that again. What I have right now is from December 27th, 2023. Been reading from March 2023. March was a good month as far as writing was concerned. It was a good month for nature and a good month for yoga. Really the same thing. yoga is not separate from nature in any way, and nature isn't separated from yoga. As a matter of fact, we could say that yoga is the path of discovering ourselves as nature, as Nisargadatta Maharishi called his own spontaneous effortlessness of yoga, Niskara yoga. Niskara meaning natural yoga. It's the spontaneous awareness of our beingness from moment to moment to moment, and actually realizing that the moment itself is just a single moment in flux, becoming, ending, but not separate from any other moment. So what I wrote, and basically what I've been doing in my older blog, is just scrolling down 2023, and whatever catches my eye, that's the one that I go to read. And what caught my eye now is one titled Realignment. And I'll read it in a few minutes, or in a few moments. We've been in conversation now for almost 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes. Let me ramble on for 10 minutes total, and then we'll get down to business, and then I'll start reading. And since, hey, I'm going to be reading more than one, probably, we'll keep scrolling through and see what else. Actually, the following post, or the post, is about something that I was talking about earlier, so maybe I'll read that as well. Man, the session is just ripe with possibilities. If anyone does stumble in, and I'm in mid sentence, I can always start over. And if anyone comes in, feel free to hit the like button and to share. Always much appreciated when anyone does that. So, 7.5 minutes in, almost 8. That's as good a time as any to read from the blog, to read the first post. This is called Realignment. I think I mentioned that. And it's about forgiveness. And hopefully it'll be explained why realignment is another term for me for forgiveness as I work through the post. Forgiveness is really just a return to the present moment, making it continuously so. A realignment of our thoughts to what happened, to what's happening now, and not focused on past transgressions. Reality itself holds no opinion on such matters. Everything is instantly forgiven and life moves on, ourselves included. But we are gifted with thought and imagination, an ability to roam our past events and feel the effects again right now, casting ourselves even further in the future to imagine how our lives might be. Forgiveness is difficult with our thoughts traveling to and fro. Yogic psychology gives reason for this suffering, that we are burdened with the mental patterns of attraction and aversions, bound to our opinions as an ego, and ignorant of being caught within the fluctuations of the mind. We don't realize how we're drawn within this web of sorrow, and even if we did, we would find ourselves helpless in the grip of its motion. Our escape is forgiveness, a realignment, simply being aware that this is so. Yoga is an easy path. We're not asked to make drastic changes, nor give effort to escape our suffering. We just practice, continuously giving our attention to the present moment by breath and posture, realigning ourselves once more with silence, and finding that forgiveness happens completely on its own. That's our awakening, not practicing to achieve anything. We're not seeking to forgive nor to escape our sorrows, but only to realign ourselves to the present moment, everything instantly forgiven, and life moves on. It's a different way of thinking about forgiveness. Although, I like to think that it is the way of truly forgiving. Not original to me, by the way. It's aligned with yogic psychology. It's aligned with Buddhist philosophy and psychology, as well as the modern spiritual path of A Course in Miracles. Uh, David Hoff, David Hoffman, Hoffmeister, I think. He's a Course in Miracles teacher, and he likens it to quantum forgiveness, as you're erasing time. You're realizing the present moment is all we have. And if the present moment is all we have, then how can anything from the past burden us? How can we hold a grudge against anything that as of this moment has never really happened? It's just occurring in our memories. And it's keeping us entrapped. It's keeping us imprisoned. We're unable to let go, so we keep replaying that past moment over and over again in the only moment that we have right now. Forgiveness is a way of setting ourselves free. We're no longer bound to that experience, to that past, to the person who wronged us in any way. We're free. Forgiveness is the path of freedom. And practicing yoga helps realign us to forgiveness. Crazy Lady is here, saying hello. Hello, how are you? I like the name. Everyone should be a little bit crazy. It breaks us open, it breaks us free. It means that we're being our truest selves, that we're not bound to behaving the way people expect us to, especially those who hold those long opinions of us. We go through life, and these people have that mental construct of who we are, and it simply isn't so. We're not. We're not that construct. We're not how we appear to this person. So sometimes putting out a little crazy reminds people, don't judge me, don't take me for granted, don't think you know who I truly, truly, truly am, because you don't. So that was the first post for the night, and I might just scroll down and just keep on reading other stuff. I do want to explore this one a little bit, though, opening up with it that forgiveness is really just a return to the present moment, continuously so, a realignment of our thoughts to what's happening now and not focused on past transgressions. Reality holds no opinion on such matters. Everything is instantly forgiven and life moves on, ourselves included. But we are gifted with thought and imagination and ability to roam our past events and feel the effects again right now, casting ourselves even further in the future to imagine how our lives might be. Forgiveness is difficult with our thoughts traveling to and fro. Baby Bop Cooper. Man, why does that remind me of a jazz great? That somebody in a jazz club in the 1940s in New York City playing a tenor sax. Somebody strolls in and they're having a drink and they say, man, who is that hip cat playing the horn? And they say, oh man, that's Baby Bop Cooper. I tell you what, I do comment quite a bit on people's names because they're so creative. Everyone is showing this little aspect of themselves. Creative, imaginative. That might be one of my favorite things about going live on YouTube, is having new people pop in with these awesome names that, again, just reflect a little bit of them. Baby Bop Cooper, man, I'm never going to get tired of saying that name. Says, you look good today. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm talking about forgiveness right now. something I wrote last year. So I'm going to read a little bit more. This is from my blog. My blog is called Headless Now, by the way. And one day maybe we'll talk more on what headless means. It's sort of a Zen expression, non-duality. So, yogic psychology gives reason for this suffering, that we are burdened with the mental patterns of attraction and aversions, bound to our opinions as an ego, and ignorant of being caught within the fluctuation of the mind. We don't realize how we're drawn within this web of sorrow, and even if we did, we will find ourselves helpless in its grip of motion. Our escape is forgiveness, a realignment, simply being aware that this is so. Yoga is an easy path. We're not asked to make drastic changes nor give effort to escape our suffering. We just practice, continuously giving our attention to the present moment by breath and posture, realigning ourselves once more with silence, and finding that forgiveness happens completely on its own. That's our awakening. Not practicing to achieve anything. We're not seeking to forgive nor to escape our sorrows, but to realign ourselves to the present moment. Everything instantly forgiven, and life moves on. A lot of people think of forgiveness as an act that we bestow on someone when they've earned it. I'm not ready to forgive. I haven't moved on yet. It still hurts. When in fact, forgiveness does happen on its own. That we actually don't do it, we just recognize it. Because the past is literally done. You have this moment, and as of this moment, that past transgression doesn't exist. Life has already forgiven it. My favorite, Mark Twain, his definition of forgiveness, that forgiveness is the fragrance of the violet upon the heel that has crushed it. Forgiveness is the fragrance released by the violet upon the heel that has crushed it. Within the instant that it's been crushed, the fragrance is released, and that's the fragrance of forgiveness. Because the event itself is already over, instantly forgiven. And as I mentioned over and over and over again, forgiveness is our key out of that emotional prison that keeps us bound to the event or the person. Why would anyone want to keep investing energy and time towards something that hurt them so much? So when we don't forgive, that means we're energetically, emotionally tied to that event or person. We have no chance of moving on. We're trapped. The only way out of that is realizing that it is done. Doesn't mean that the emotional scars don't remain, but the event itself is done. When we set ourselves free from that person or event, then we can truly begin to heal. But we always think that I'll forgive when I heal. True healing doesn't take place until we forgive. Because then that emotional bond, that energetic hold that event has on us is broken. We're done. Now we can heal. So, as mentioned, I think I'm just going to keep reading through my blog. And it seems like December might be the month, but maybe not. I talked about this earlier today. The easiness of the easy pose, Sukhasana, which is a cross-legged pose. That is my first yoga pose of the morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, as a matter of fact. I'm up. Lately it's been about 2:40 in the morning, and I take care of, hygienic needs. I go to the bathroom, and Then I sit in meditation, and the first thing I do is I sit in Sukhasana, which means easy pose. An easy pose is simply easy crossing of the legs. It's not lotus, it's not half lotus. I'm not contorted in any position. I'm just in a very comfortable, easy, cross-legged pose. I like it because it feels sealed. Sealed in position, energetically sealed. So, let's read that. This was written December 26, 2023. And who knows, maybe I'll go in the Wayback Machine and we'll go like decades. I plan on being here for an hour. So, plenty of time. So again, this is called Almost Immediately. And here it is. I love that my day starts with yoga. My eyes first opening to a prayer of gratitude, and then I am almost immediately sitting in Sukhasana, easy pose, a cross-legged posture for my morning meditation. This is a beautiful asana for me. I'm able to ease into and sit comfortably for some time, spine straight, and right away, my morning begins with yoga. More than a practice, it's the display of all I love, almost immediately upon my waking. Sukhasana is a pose I look forward to, eager for its lengthening of my spine, hips opening, and the night's sleep being stretched from my body as my mind settles into the vibration of the mantra. This is how I start my day, without fail, and if nothing else occurred for its duration, I would remain gripped in joy and gratitude that I am able to fold my legs and stretch my back upwards, firmly connected to earth and air. Almost immediately, Sukhasana reminds me of this connection. It's also a valuable asana with many benefits from its simplicity. The mind becomes concentrated from its hold, digestion improves, posture lengthens, and ankles and knees gain greater mobility. Even as I work through the pain from a back injury, I find relief from this pose. Energetically, it's a position for deep observation. Almost immediately, I settle into listening to my body, relaxing my thoughts, continuing their flow without my direct participation. Sukhasana opens me as a witness to it all, a beautiful way to begin my day. One thing, reading a post from months ago, sometimes a year ago or more, is because I don't revisit it. Once I write something, it's pretty much done until, I do something like this. And I notice my typos, or that I left word out as I was typing. For one, I'm a lousy typist. I'm a self-taught typist. Weirdly, I took typing in middle school and did horribly, and then never typed again. And then when I wrote my first book, and I wrote it on a yellow legal tab, and I realized that I had to type it. I didn't want anyone else to have to do it. So I sat down and taught myself how to type. Originally, what my dad used to call, I guess everyone called it, the hunt and peck style, 2 fingers. And you hunt for the letter you look for, and you peck away. I started there, and then naturally just sort of fell into more of a regular typing pattern, but I'm still not good at it. Dawn People is here. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you back. Appreciate you being here. Pleasant Thursday afternoon. Thank you. And I hope it's pleasant for you as well. So, I'm going to keep working through my blog, just reading some stuff. And it's funny because a lot of the stuff that I'm coming across are things that I talked about today and yesterday, maybe the day before. in my earlier live sessions. This is Brahma Muhurta, which is literally translated to God's hour. This is the hour of Brahma, the hour of God, and it is traditionally seen as about an hour and a half before the sun comes up to about an hour after the um, sun has already risen. So it's more than an hour. It's literally a stretch of time, and it's considered to be the holiest time of the day. It's the hour of becoming, an energetic imprint of newness that we can step into. This is when every great mystic, all the shamans of the past would say, this is when you want to pray. This is when you want to ask for what you wish for. That's what Rumi, the great Persian poet, said. This is when you will hear the voice of God through everything. The morning itself. The morning itself speaks the language of God, and you'll be able to hear it and translate it. When I suspect, when Moses climbed up, was it Mount Sinai, to receive the Ten Commandments, and he was confronted by the burning bush, and he asked the burning bush, who should I say gave me these commandments? And the answer was, I am that I am. That I am presence that keeps reappearing in every holy text across the ages, from the Bible to the Bhagavad Gita to the Upanishads, the Psalms. Be still and know that I am. But I suspect when Moses climbed to the mountain, that it was the hour of Brahma Muhurta, that is when he received those commandments. Speaking of commandments, I always say, yoga has their own 10 things to do. But in yoga, it is their suggestions, not commandments. Your life will be better if you follow these suggestions, is basically what yoga says. So, let's read this. Brahma Muhurta. It's considered God's hours. Brahma Muhurta, a most auspicious period for the performance of any holy deed. This is my time to meditate. A gentle routine of yoga displayed through sun salutation and just a few asanas to wake my body to the arrival of the morning light. Perhaps of highest importance, to my emotional benefit at least, this is when I receive my most inspired words, as if the soft whisper of the universe is heard clearest at this hour. And who's to say it isn't? This is actually a fluid time, not set to a particular point, but ranging from an hour and 36 minutes before sunrise and lasting 48 minutes total. Although I've heard different time frames, this one seems the most consistent. It's said that this is when prana, life force, is most powerful. We're able to channel it for our creative and physical needs. I actually wake earlier than this, as if preparing for these hours, readying my mind and body and spirit to receive the divine whispers of the morning. When Brahma Muhurta arrives, I am ready to receive. Lately, this has been my request for healing, using the motion of yoga, writing, and walking as a prayer, spending the most auspicious point of time in communion with nature. What I'm learning to do is listen, not to any particular thing, but to every soft stir of wind and creak of branches, hearing the prowl or scamper of animals to the edge of brush, and mostly listening to silence, being the purest expression of these holy hours. And that seems to be the answer to my every deepest prayer. That is Brahma Muhurta. And again, that was my blog post, December 23rd, 2023. We're going to keep on scrolling backwards. and see what shows up. Sorry for the silence. I'm actually trying to um, allow a bit of silence to fall in these conversations and to just sit with it, to not feel that just because we're in a conversation that uh, I'm online and live, that I need to always be filling it with something. Let's see. Nathaniel, Chris, and B. Silo. That is some channel, my friend. Um, nice. I like it. Good morning from the Philippines. Good morning, my friend. Um, I thought my title was long, which it is. Sometimes the long channel is what you need because it signifies a great importance to us that we want to share with others. That my channel is named this because this is what's important to me. So for me, obviously, I wanted to signify one, that I was a yogi. Most importantly, that I was just a yogi. That I'm not putting myself there as a teacher of any kind, although I do teach breath work and meditation. Um, I'm just someone that has practiced yoga forever. I don't go to yoga classes. Um, I learned how to do it, and I just love practicing on my own. So I'm just a yogi, and I love doing burpees, obviously, in my basement. Where where else would you do burpees? Um, so I appreciate you stopping in from the Philippines, especially morning for you. Here it is almost 5:45 in the evening, and I'll actually be getting ready to go to bed relatively soon. I'm in bed. I'm usually in bed by 6:30ish, and I sleep by 7, hopefully, when everything goes right. And that's because I'm up early, as I mentioned. Somewhere between 2:30 and 3 is when I get up. Lately, it's been closer to 2:30. Not for any particular reason. My alarm set for 2:50, but um, I've been drawn to get out of bed, start my day, and start doing all the stuff that I absolutely love to do. I'm really, at this point right now, I'm very blessed with my life. That I have a little bit of savings. I get to wake up. I get to come here. I get to have conversations with you guys. Um, I meditate. I practice my yoga. I write every day, and I get out in nature. It's a good life, which is why, of course, it would still be a good life if none of those things were happening. And hopefully I would realize that. I have before. Um, it's a good life by virtue of being alive. It's a good life by virtue of being able to take a breath, of having a heart that beats, lungs that function, that I don't have to give thought to any particular body part, to any organ. Everything happens naturally and spontaneous on its own. And that's why I wake up in the morning, and the very first action, 9 times out of 10, is just a smile and a simple prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. usually 3 times. Just seems fitting. Thank you. And I repeat that. I quote all the time Meister Eckhart, the great German mystic of the, I believe, the 12th century, who said that if the only prayer we ever said was thank you, that alone would be enough. And I've reached a point in my life where it just seems to flow naturally on waking up to be able to say thank you and literally feel it deep in my heart. No idea how I got started on that subject. That's the way these conversations happen. And it's fun to see where they go and how they flow. So I'm still looking at the blog here. Catnip for life. What do you believe happens to us after we die? It's funny you should ask that, as I've recently reread a couple books on death. And I have, I dug out my old copy of Sorghum Rinpoche's The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, often simply called the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but truly the title is Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. And what it is it talks about the bardos, and the bardos are energetic spaces that we enter. Life itself is a bardo. And then according to Tibetan Buddhism, when we die, we enter another bardo. And that is a bardo of where we review life, the things that we did, and we prepare for the next life. That's the view in Tibetan Buddhism. One of the books that I read was based upon the Katha Upanishads, which is the Vedic yogic text dealing with death. And there they liken death as, again, it's based upon reincarnation, and they liken it koshas, which are, you can liken them to jackets of energy. And that when we die, each of these jackets, what they call the food body, solid, and then the pranic body or energetic body, and then the mind body, and then the body of knowledge, and then we have that pure bliss consciousness. And that through the process of death, we let go of each until we're in that bliss consciousness. And then we're either reborn or we stay in that merger with God. What I believe, I don't know if I have a belief. I can't recall being dead, so I have nothing to base it on. But I like the thought of rebirth. Not so much reincarnation, not that there's an actual soul, maybe there is, that reincarnates from body to body to body through eternity. It might be so. I don't know, because I don't have any past lives experience that I remember. But rebirth happens every single moment. Each moment ends at the exact instant another one is beginning. So it's just a process of energy. Quantum physics shows that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. We are energetic beings. So we're continuously being reborn as something other. Life just continues. We're breathing in molecules and atoms, particles, that were part of Michelangelo. that were part of Mozart, that were part of Jesus, part of Moses. The same molecules. They make up parts of us. Very same molecules. How's that for rebirth? My father passed away 2 years ago. I was his caregiver. Um, he was a science teacher, absolutely loved nature as well. I love walking early in the morning and knowing that the molecules that made up my dad, that energy that was my dad, right now could be a brand new blossom of a leaf. It could be the tip of a bunny rabbit's ear. It could be anything, and it is. It could also be part of me, and it is. So, that's what I think. But I don't know anything, to be honest. Yes, bro, do a roundhouse kick. At one point in my life, I could do a roundhouse kick. At this point in my life, I can't do a roundhouse kick. And in my office, you would see a complete spaz hitting my foot on my desk. You'd hear a whole lot of cursing. I'd get banned from YouTube in an instant. Catnip for Life says, very interesting. Yeah, it's a hard question. No one really knows. But not living is also impossible for us to imagine. I'm not sure if not living is impossible to imagine, as not existing is impossible to imagine. There's an interesting experiment people can do. You can go to the Headless Way or visit Richard Lang on YouTube, and he'll guide you through an experiment of pointing out your empty nature right here, right now. And you get it instantly. You just follow the experiment. It's a way of discovering your headlessness. But what you find when you point out your emptiness is that, yes, you're empty, but something remains. Everything is appearing within that emptiness. And there's a sense of awareness that never leaves us. From the moment we first came into this plane, into this particular life, whatever we believe came before or after, from the very moment we came, we were aware. We didn't have memories, or at least memories that I can remember now. We didn't have names or concepts. We just had pure awareness. When we were 3, we began to have names. We began to recognize objects. But it was all things that was in awareness. At 16, life became a little more complicated. But the same awareness that was present the moment we were born is still there. That's the one thing about us, that pure awareness that has never changed from day one. It's the same awareness that's going to be there the moment that you die. I think when we discover that, there's a pretty good likelihood that that same awareness is going to remain. He is God's Son is here. How are you doing today, everyone? Thanks for coming in. Hey, how are you? Always appreciate it when you stop by. The real opinion, when we die, I'm hoping it's only the beginning. You know what? There's every possibility that it is. Every ending is nothing more than a beginning. Spring ends, winter ends, and you have spring. Spring ends and you have summer. Catnip for Life says that's actually a beautiful thought. Brings me comfort. Knowing that I'm holding my father, I'm holding my mother, within the same awareness that existed the moment I was born. The moment through all of their lives. When My father, I was with my father. I was holding his hand when he passed away here in this house. And I can't say that he was gone. I can say that my father died. I can say that he stopped breathing. But I can't say that he was gone. And I continued my conversation with him. I knew, I've read, and according to both yogic psychology as well as Buddhist psychology, consciousness remains within the body for some time. And even neuroscience shows that the mind is still shutting down long after the body has died. So I continued talking with my dad, and I did what I could to guide him wherever it was he was going, whatever was occurring, to let him know that there was a loving presence with him, and there always would be, as long as I'm aware, and that seems to be everlasting. I will hold my dad in a loving presence. Let's see. My friend Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, is here. Hello, Eric. A brief stop-in. Thank you. I appreciate that. Always appreciate any kind of stop-in, for however long that might be. Eric Roy is here. Hello from Chicago. Chicago is a beautiful city. Hello, Eric. Awesome name, by the way, although obviously I'm biased. The Real Opinion says, I'd love to see my Nan and Grandpa again. Man, it's a beautiful thought. You know what, though? I would definitely love to see both my parents again. I would love to see my grandparents again. And friends that I've lost along the way. But I might not see them, but I know them. I experience them. I have them. I have them in my heart, which is more important than having them in memory. Memories are fleeting experiences of past events that we might remember correctly, we might not. Memories are often faulty. The heart holds everything. There's been stories of, Deepak Chopra tells a story of someone who got a heart transplant from a young kid, and he began having memories. His diet changed, his likes. He was having these deep memories, cellular memories of his heart donor's life, the young kid's life. Eating things that he never ate before, SpaghettiOs, stuff like that, things that kids like. And it just goes to show, life continues, somehow, some way. I don't know in what way. I don't know if people are reincarnated. I don't know if what type of afterlife exists. But I do know that it's been a long string of unbroken awareness from day one to present day. The only thing that's never changed about me. There was a time many years ago, I had a full head of long blonde hair. The awareness of that hair is the same awareness that is aware of not having it any longer. So, you know what? If I could make a wish right now in this time, I would wish that the Real Opinion would be able to see his Nan and Grandpa again. That's a wonderful thought. So I would wish that for you too, my friend. Dee Dee says, hi Eric, what do you think of the Dig-a-Dee situation? Really interested in your thoughts on the matter. Well, I actually don't know what that is, or who that is. So I can't give an opinion or a thought, unfortunately. Catnip for Life says, do you believe artificial intelligence will give humanity answers to these questions in the future? No, I don't think so. I can't say for certain, obviously, like the meaning of life and the very start of our universe. No, because it's just that. Artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence. And it can never explain mystery. No one can explain mystery. We can surmise, we can make guesses, we can even, through deep states of meditation, access some of that. If we read any of the ancient cosmologies, how the universe came in, we see similar patterns spread across the world, which just goes to show that there's some type of universal consciousness that is connecting all of us, that truly, we could say, is who and what we truly are, that we simply merge back into universal consciousness. And once we're in universal consciousness, of course, we're never separated from it. But once we have that realization, then what's to say we're not going to have a human experience once more? But I don't think artificial intelligence will ever, because it's part of the mystery. And the mystery can never truly reveal itself. It can only express itself. It's in a constant state of expression. That's a great question, though. My friend Destiny says, thanks everyone for joining. Just a yogi doing burpees in his basement for his reading blog. Please don't forget to hit the like button and share out his amazing channel and work. Much love. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate that. Destiny is saying hello to everyone. Destiny never fails to impress me with her consideration for every single person that ever joins in on these conversations. DD has asked me again my thoughts on the Dig-a-dee. I think you just like hearing me say Dig-a-dee. Would love to have your thoughts. So I guess I could Google it and find out what it is, but I don't think I could have, I don't think I could form any thoughts on it. It's just not, doesn't register on my, daily thought process. The 185, oh baby, wild world. Yeah, I agree. It is a wild world. What a time to be alive. Be safe, everyone. You too, my friend. Thank you for stopping by and giving us that message. Anytime someone wishes us safety, always want to wish it back in return. Destiny Forever Walks says, anything that is artificial is not real, or it is in a real state. Just my thoughts. I would agree with Destiny. It's still part of creation. And it's not true intelligence. Here's what's intelligence. What is it that's beating our hearts right now? What's drawing air into our lungs? What is making thoughts happen? And people can say, well, thoughts are happening, a neurochemical response in the brain. What's causing that? That's intelligence. And there's absolutely nothing artificial about that whatsoever. We are that intelligence. We can tap into at any time. Deep states of meditation, doing breath work, simply being out in nature. When we're in nature, everything drops away except for our beingness. Simply being. Intelligence expressed. Being alive. Our friend, the 185, said, "What a time to be alive." And I agree. Just being alive is an expression of that source of creativity itself. Catnip for Life says, "I subscribe." Thank you. I appreciate that. Like how you think so deeply and logically on these questions. Well, thank you, my friend. Destiny says, "Thanks for coming, the 185. DD says, "It's a bit of a rabbit hole. What do you think about the current state of the IDF?" Man, I feel out of it. What is the IDF? Good thing I have Google in front of me. Or is that going to tell me? Oh, Israel Defense Force. I think, right? Man, I don't know. I don't know. I agree with 185 that it's a crazy time to be alive and that everyone should be safe. I wish safety for Israel. I wish safety for Palestine. I wish love for everyone. I wish that everyone could pause and realize their innate sense of being love. The vast, vast majority of this, it's just ego-based action. One ego saying to another ego, "My way is right and your way is wrong," shouting back and forth. And unfortunately, the shouts are with weapons, destroying lives, destroying innocent people. None on either side, none of the people deserve any of that whatsoever. None of them. It's just a few people with large egos commanding other people. So what I know is that across the board, it is a sad state of affair. Destiny says, "That's real, Eric, and that's intelligence. It's everything that's happening in the now moment, and we are seeing it and witnessing it, and we are it." Thank you, Destiny. It's a great answer, and we literally are it. We are that intelligence. We're the very intelligence of the universe expressed right now in this moment, and we don't need to do anything at all except be. Now, people might say, if we're the intelligence of the universe, why can't I answer this question or that question? True intelligence doesn't have anything to do with an actual answer. It has everything to do with simply expressing itself creatively, dynamically, as life itself. One thing that we can't deny is what Nisargadatta Maharishi claimed: I am. I am. Beingness. And who and what we are is, again, pure, pure intelligence of the universe. We can also call the intelligence of the universe, if we choose, if we like that expression in language, we could call it God, or we could call it reality, or the universe, or, my preference, we could call it love. Destiny says, "Please don't forget to smash the like button and share out the host's amazing content." Thumbs up. Thank you. DD subscribe. Hey, I appreciate that. And our friend Yotost is here. Hello, Yotost. How are you? Always happy when you stop in. DD says, "To right." Dee Dee says a very level-headed answer. Um, you know what I try to do is not give an opinion, because one more opinion doesn't add anything to it. Certainly mine doesn't. What I'd rather do, what's behind the opinion? What is that? What holds the opinion? And when you tap into that, that's when you're tapping into the intelligence that Destiny Forever Walks was talking about as well. It's not an opinion, it's just the isness of the situation. Yuto says, I'm good. How about you? What about you? I'm good too. Thank you. Dee Dee says you tap into the humanity. Yeah, again, I think that's when you give up your opinion, we all tap into our humanity. I'm not saying that opinions are bad, that we shouldn't have them, but they change. They're not meant to be forever, and they're not who we are. They're just a momentary thing. So when we place so much stock in our opinion that we're willing to kill someone for it, that we're willing to wipe out an entire group of people on an opinion, like Dee Dee said, tap into humanity and everything changes. You realize, man, how ridiculous of me that I took that opinion so seriously for a minute. But man, thank God I'm over it. Thank God that passed. Your toast says facts. Man, this has been a great conversation with you guys. All of you. Appreciate you coming in. So I was mentioning before, I gave that little pause there. I am trying to give up the need, the desire of feeling like just because I'm on YouTube Live that I need to keep throwing words out there, that I can't allow a little bit of silence between us. That, just because we're live doesn't mean that we can't share some silence. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anyone's comments. Dee Dee says, if you came across someone who was down in a bad way, which one book from behind you would you give them to hopefully help them? Man, that's a great question. And does this have to be behind me? Because I got more over here. You know what? That is a really great question. And I almost gave a quick answer. And then I started thinking, one thing people don't need when they're down is anything that is providing these quick answers for a quick fix to make you feel better right now. Hey, my friend David Witten is here. Hey, Eric, just stopping by to say hi, man. I appreciate that, David. I appreciate that very much. I hope you're well. I hope your family is well. And I know your burpees in training are well. I can't imagine how they wouldn't be. So, man, I'm looking at my books. It's a really good question. I have some books on death and dying. I have lots of books on meditation and Buddhism, yoga. You know what? I'm not sure I'd give them a book. I think I'd just sit with them and allow them to be sad for however long they needed to be sad. Allow them to grieve, not try to cheer them up. Just give them presence. Give them my presence. Share presence together. Without saying so, letting them know that they're loved. And then when they're feeling better, I'd give them a book on yoga, the psychology of yoga, that helps relieve suffering. Because yogic psychology and Buddhist psychology offer the same thing, a path out of suffering. Not a path out of sorrow, not a path out of grief, but knowing that we suffer because we're always projecting out of the present moment. When we're in deep grief, we want to feel better. When we're depressed, we want to be up. When we're too far up, we want to be brought down. And that suffering is the refusal to accept what's going on in the moment. When we're sad, just be sad. Turn to help. Ask someone to be there for you. Let's see. Destiny is saying hi to David. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. David was early inspiration for my burpee channel. For me, 822. Someone asked me how many days I've been doing burpees. That was Destiny who asked me. And as of today, it was 822 days. And day one, David Whitten, day one leading to day two, David Whitten had a lot to do with that. It's got a wonderful channel. It's not just a fitness channel. It's sort of the why of fitness, the why of doing what we're doing. And also, he's just a really good guy. David is a police officer, and he is the type of police officer that you know has your safety as his concern. For some reason, I just get the feeling that wherever David is when he's on duty, he would give his all to make sure that place stayed safe. Just the feeling that I get from David. So, David says we were in Florida on a little vacation, Eric. Having a great time. I'll leave you to answer your questions, brother. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. And enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your time in Florida. This is a really nice time to be in Florida, by the way, as you know. David is in North Canada. Labrador, I think, or in that area. So, Florida can be a pretty amazing place. Destiny says, well, 808 days straight without any days off. Eric, that is extraordinary. Yeah, haven't had a day off yet. I'm not trying to do a streak. It's just every day I wake up and I think, man, I really want to do burpees. Catnip for Life says there are good cops out there. It's just that these bad cops get all the attention in the news, unfortunately. Yeah, what is a journalistic saying? It's a horrible expression. If it bleeds, it leads. People want to report bad news. I remember David Whitten said too, kind Eric. Well deserved, David. I think. Well deserved. I forget who it was that I said every day something absolutely amazing happens. Every day someone does something amazingly kind, commits an act of pure love. Every day someone is gracious, a politician does the right thing, a police officer does an amazing thing, saves someone's life, risks his own life, her own life, in order to save someone, puts their life on the line. Uh, they Someone might adopt a stray animal. Every day something truly kind and amazing happens. And yet for some reason, for the media, they're drawn towards that negativity. Something bad happened, let's report it. I'm not saying we ignore the bad things, of course. We need to be informed. But to be informed means we're also told of the good stuff. That somewhere right now, someone, an Israeli, um, did a kind service for a Palestinian. Somewhere right now, a Palestinian did a kind service for someone in Israel. Someone reached across the aisle politically right now. All that is news, and it's as valid as all the bad stuff that happens that we're always reporting on. Destiny says, there's 365 days in a year. Just do my math, Eric. Yeah. And talked about this yesterday with some people. Actually, with my friend Elise. And she was asking about discipline. And how she's always admired my discipline, that, I get up and I'm meditating at 3 in the morning, I do my yoga, I write, I go out for a walk in nature, and then I work out, all the other stuff. I really don't think any of it as being discipline, because it invokes too much joy for me to think of it as discipline. Now, of course, maybe there's a fine line. Maybe it's just my way of expressing it. I just absolutely love everything that I do. Same with my diet. I absolutely love being a vegan. And I always tell people I'm absolutely fine with whatever diet works for you, for whatever reason. I'm a vegan by choice, and you eat what you eat by choice. Who am I to say you need to eat my way? Just works for me. And I know it works for Destiny as well. So, I think that's going to be the end for the conversation for tonight. It was a great conversation. Appreciate all you guys coming in. We'll be shutting things down very shortly and getting ready for bed. I do my breath work, my last breath work for the night, and sort of unwind, spend some time with my cat. So again, thanks everyone. I appreciate it. Be back tomorrow. Destiny says consistency is the key. You just have to love what you're doing, 100%, and you will keep doing it happily and with joy. That is so true, Destiny. Catnip for Life says, thank you, Eric. Blessings to you and yours. Thank you, and you as well, Catnip. I appreciate that. And your toast said, I'm glad I could catch some of the stream. So am I. The last few times you popped in, and we were just getting ready to say goodbye. So I'm glad that we got to spend some time together. A little bit more than usual. So, be back tomorrow. And again, I appreciate everyone. Thanks. Destiny, thank you. And David, I appreciate you stopping in. I want to give a quick scroll down because you guys were awesome today. Dee Dee, thank you a lot. I appreciate it. And I've already said thank you to Catnip, but I'm going to say it again because I appreciate you being here. The same with Real Opinion and Eric Roy and Nathaniel. Crazy Lady as well, and Dawn People. I think that covers everyone. Really appreciate it, guys. Take care.